And welcome to the C++ tutorials. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about functions, what are functions, and why we should be using functions. So let's get into it. So the two libraries that we're going to be using is include iostream and include string. So normally, if you want to print out your name to the console, you would type in std cout pop and line, because that should print out your name. Good. Now let's say you want to print out multiple things. So you would copy this and modify whatever you want to print out and do that. Now that's a lot of code. You can see this mess right here. We have to print out those couts, those std. If there is only a simpler way, and there is a simpler way, and those things are called functions. Functions will be able to make, instead of writing all of this, just print out whatever you want to print out, and it will print out to the console. So let's create a function. So to create a function, we need data type. I'll get into the data type later, but for right now, just type in void, a name for the function, print my name. And in this curly brackets, we're going to put in std cout setup pop and so when we run this code, print my name. Now we also have to tell the computer that, hey, this function exists, because when we're running from right here, it has never run into this code. It doesn't know where it is. It doesn't know even if it exists. So I have to tell it, hey, this function exists, so watch out for it. To do that, we just have to copy this, put it here. Now when you type in print my name, it will be looking for this function, and it knows this function is somewhere because it's linked, so it will run this piece of code. So when we run it, let's delete all of this. So when we run it, it should print out our name. Now you may be wondering, well, it does shorten the line of code, but we can only print out one thing. So if you wanted to print out maybe my last name, we have to create a function for that. We have to type in my last name. We have to spell it here. We have to put it down here, and that just seems a lot of code. Now there's three things into a function. There's name, data type, and parameters. Parameters inside these curly braces, parentheses, are additional information you want to put in this block of code. In this block of code, additional information you might want to put in. Now, what is some additional information we want to put in this function? How about a text? We want to put in some text into this piece of code, so we want to put a piece of text. So std string. So for parameters, we're going to need to type in the data type and the name that we're going to reference it in this piece of block of code. So std string name. The name can be anything. It can be this, and it will still work. Text. So right here in our reference, we're going to have to copy it. Now, the reason we have to copy is because this function, it's like its ID, so it has to be the exact, otherwise it will say it doesn't exist. So right here, it's asking too few arguments. It's asking for you to put in something, a string, a text. So we're gonna put in hello world. So this hello world is now going to be copied into text. Text equals hello world when we run this code. So if this text is a string, could we just type it into this? Now would that mean it would just... Now I'm going to retype into the appropriate name because it's not printing my name anymore. I'm just printing wherever it wants. So let's create another print. Print I. So it should run hello world, then hi. See how simple it was? Now you can type many of these. Print. And it will be less code to manage. Now, there's 3 types in a function: name, parameters, and data type. So let's create another variable called int, integer variable x equals 6. And let's create another function called void for now, the letter f. Our function will be called the letter f. And in parameters, it's going to accept an integer value. And we're just going to call it x in here. So what we're going to do to x, so let's create another variable inside here called y. We haven't described what y is. At y equals x plus 4. Now let's create another function called final y. How can we get this value of y that's inside this block of code into this value that's in the main? Well, what we have to do is return this keyword. Return is going to return y. So whatever this function was, finding y has to equal this function. So right here, we're putting x into this function. X is going to be plus 4, and that will be the value of y, and it's going to return y here. So this whole thing will be whatever y value was down here. Now it's giving an error, and the reason why is because right here it's a void. So that means this function was meant so it doesn't return nothing at all, but we want to return something, and that something is an integer because y is an integer. So we're going to type in int, and now it should work. Now we can just print final y. So now we can just do cout final y. And so x is 6. 6 or x is put into this. So x is 6, x plus 4 is 10, and we're going to return 10. So y is now equal to 10, and it's going to print out 10. Oh yeah, I forgot. I had to tell the computer that it exists. Int f, int x. And that should be it. That's functions. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope I wasn't too fast. I hope you were already familiar with some of the concepts like data types, in parentheses, stuff like that. And peace out.